Hey everyone, my name is Kelsey, and this is Introduction to Pride and Prejudice. Elegant clothing, indulgent dinners, and lavish balls. Break out your best table manners, because in this unit, we'll be transported to 19th century England as we read Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice. In this video, we'll learn more about Jane Austen and the historical context of this famous work, as well as preview literature, language, and composition skills that we'll focus on in this unit. Let's get started. Jane Austen lived from 1775 to 1817. She was one of 8 children born to parents George and Cassandra. Austen's father was a reverend who served as a head of his parish for most of her life. Growing up in the Hampshire village of Steventon, Austen started writing poems and stories at a very young age, and her later novels were inspired by the people she met through family and friends, as well as on her trips to London and Bath. Austen published 4 novels in her lifetime, and 2 more of her novels were published after her death. While alive, she published all of her works anonymously, since writing was considered an undesirable profession for women in that time period. Her closest companion was her sister Cassandra, and most of what we know about Austen's life comes from the letters that remain from her to her sister during that time. Austen's novels are all written during what is known as the Regency period of 19th century England. This period was characterized by distinctive trends in the arts, literature, and fashion. During the Regency period, social stratification was strictly rooted in wealth and family connections. Firm social norms dictated specific roles for men and women. While men had many opportunities for social and financial advancement, women could climb the social ladder only through marriage. Austen's works can be classified as taking the form of a comedy of manners. Stories in this form are known for questioning or commenting upon the manners or norms of high-class society at the time in which they were written. Austen's novels have certain common characteristics in terms of their plot, characters, setting, and conflicts. Her works famously critiqued traditional gender roles, social norms, and manners of her time period. They mainly focus on middle-class society with female protagonists who are of marrying age. Typically, the plots of her novels focus on a female protagonist or multiple protagonists on their quest towards marriage. Her novels are known for their witty dialogue and frequent use of letter writing between characters in order to communicate key events in the plot. They explore themes such as courtship and marriage, manners and social norms, social class division, feminism, morality, education, and coming of age. But the 2 devices most crucial to the effectiveness of Austen's work are her use of satire and irony. Satire is the use of humor, exaggeration, or irony to ridicule or critique an aspect of human nature or society. Austen uses satire throughout Pride and Prejudice to critique the social norms, behaviors, and views of courtship in the time period that she was writing in. Irony is a term you should be familiar with from earlier in this course. In its simplest form, irony is when the opposite of what is expected occurs. There are 3 types of irony: verbal, situational, and dramatic irony. Austen primarily uses verbal irony, which is essentially sarcasm, and situational irony, when the opposite of what the reader expects occurs. Austen's irony is sometimes part of her satire, but other times she simply uses it to add humor to her writing. Because Pride and Prejudice is a novel, it explores multiple plot lines at the same time rather than just one, like in a short story. The novel focuses on the Bennet family, with parents Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, and their 5 daughters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Catherine, who goes by Kitty, and Lydia. Because inheritance laws at the time limited men to inherit estates, the Bennet daughters must marry into wealth and cannot inherit any of their father's estate. This brings in the other major characters, the suitors of the Bennet women, including Mr. Collins, Mr. Bingley, and Mr. Darcy. The novel primarily focuses on Jane and Elizabeth's relationships, and Elizabeth is considered the protagonist of the story. But that doesn't stop their sister Lydia from causing some trouble of her own. Unlike short stories, novels provide depth into many different characters, including their development, their traits, and their motivations. So we'll spend a good deal of time analyzing the various characters in Pride and Prejudice, And trust me when I tell you, there are some characters. In this unit, we'll focus on a combination of literature, language, and composition skills. Since Austen's works are satirical, we'll focus heavily on satire and irony. We'll also consider the historical context of the novel and analyze its characters, their relationships, and their motivations. We'll consider the purpose the novel's multiple plot lines have and analyze the types of conflict that are present in the text. Of course, we'll consider all of these elements in light of how they impact the novel's theme. In terms of composition, we'll focus on organizing our writing to maximize its effectiveness and writing with concision. We'll also do some creative writing, considering the points of views of various characters in the text, and we'll end with a literary analysis. In terms of language skills, this unit will explore some of the most common language topics that appear on the SAT and ACT, including commonly confused words, using appropriate transitions in our writing, and the correct use of idiomatic expressions. Pride and Prejudice and other novels by Jane Austen have stood the test of time and gained popular acclaim, with several movie adaptations and other books based on their ideas. Movies like Clueless and Bridget Jones' Diary are loosely inspired by the plots and characters of her novels, and the popular Netflix series Bridgerton has an Austen-esque setting and themes taking place in Regency England just like her stories do. Even Austen's life has been a point of fascination, inspiring the movie Becoming Jane, which focuses on her brief courtship with a man named Tom Lefroy. As we read Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen's biting wit and use of humor will keep you entertained throughout the story, along with its ridiculous characters, some daring professions of love, and surprising plot twists. You know how much I hate spoilers, so we'll leave it at that. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you next time.
Hey.